It's great to see you. I'm sorry if that light in your eye from the projector, but we'll work through it. Maybe a little bit. I know I saw you saying hi to a lot of people coming in the room, but maybe for those that don't know you, maybe a little bit of your history and how you came to Tallahassee originally and why you're still here.
Yeah, I originally came to Tallahassee here in 1993, and I came here because Coach Bobby Bowden came to my house in South Carolina and asked if I would play for the Florida State Seminoles. And if you guys have met Coach Bowden, he is very charming, but he is an incredible guy. And he convinced me to come to Tallahassee, and got here in '93. I graduated in 1997, and I was fortunate enough to be drafted by the Baltimore Ravens in 1997. Spent 9 seasons with the Baltimore Ravens, and just had an incredible time there. And it's funny, when I was a student here, my wife and I, we talk about this all the time. You know, not a knock against Tallahassee, but when I was a student, we were like, you know, we're going to graduate here, but we're never going to live in Tallahassee. We're going to go to a big city, we're going to go somewhere, and we're going to spread our wings somewhere else. And so obviously I got drafted by the Ravens, but in the off season I built a home out in Phoenix, Arizona. I loved it out there, big city. My wife was from LA, and so we were going to spend half the year on the East Coast in Baltimore, and then the other off season in Phoenix. And we did that for about a year and a half, and we just started thinking about the Southeast, and started thinking about Tallahassee, and just the big city was really, really good, but just the smaller feel of Tallahassee and the people and the community, we longed to have it again. And we were like, we need to go back to Tallahassee. And so we did. We came back here, and we've been here ever since, and we love it here. We have 5 kids, and we love the feel of Tallahassee. And we had the opportunity to pick anywhere to live, and at the end of the day, we picked Tallahassee because it's just a great place to live, and we're just so thankful to be here.
So what was your first business venture in? Because I know there's many things along your professional and private career path. So what was the first maybe business venture after pro football? And did you all win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, we did. That's one little thing that we did.
Yeah,
in 2000 we were able to win a world championship, and
awesome.
That was just incredible. It was an incredible opportunity. Had an incredible team. Just glad to be able to do that. And you asked about my first business deal. I think it was maybe 98, 99, and it may sound weird, but in Gainesville, Florida, my roommate and I and another guy, we bought a BMW, Porsche, Volkswagen dealership there. And I knew, as an athlete, that it's, you're not going to play forever. And you have to try to plan for a career after sports. And so that's kind of what I was doing. I was like, look, I've got to try to get something, and so we invested in a deal in Gainesville, Florida. We had it for a couple of years, and, BMW was a strong franchise. Volkswagen was solid as well. And so I had it for a few years, and had the opportunity to sell that, and acquired the franchise, the Toyota franchise here in Tallahassee. And so the one in Gainesville was our first deal, and we did okay with it. And I was able to sell that one and move over here to Tallahassee.
And you also, so I know family's important, 5 children, but you've also ventured into Community Leadership Academy.
Yep.
Schooling. And so maybe tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, when I retired from the NFL, never in a million years did I think that I'd ever get into private education. Just never did. And a long story short, my wife and I visited a school in Jacksonville. And we met with the headmasters there, and they're like, you can start a program in Tallahassee. And I'm like, it's not going to happen. But anyway, my wife convinced me that that's what we should do, and we did it. And I tell you what, when I went into it, it was more of, I'm going to do it because I think it's right. I'm going to do it because, I want to serve the community, but I don't really, this is just not my passion.
Right.
And after a couple of years, I tell you what, I really fell in love with just, education, private education, serving kids, serving the community, getting involved in the community, helping parents out with educational needs. and it was a nonprofit. I did it for the past 11 years. It was extremely hard, sometimes frustrating work, but my wife and I, we looked at each other and we were like, this is incredible. Pouring into the lives of these young kids, helping them figure out the direction they want to go in life. It has just been incredibly rewarding for my wife and I. And so we're so glad to have had the opportunity to do it. And I still have my hands involved in it. I know I've transitioned to the Toyota deal, but it's hard for me to get my hands out of it because I've been so involved in it. But I've loved my time with Community Leadership Academy, and hopefully we can continue to serve the community with the school.
What are the grades, or what's the age group?
Right now we are K through 12, and when we started, it was a K through third program, and pretty much every year we kind of grew a grade, and so we grew it all the way to high school. And we stopped a couple of years, and then we decided to push it through high school. And high school has been it's pretty tough to do high school, especially with a smaller school when you have to offer AP honors, different levels, and so it's been tough. But this year we will graduate our first class of 4 students.
Oh, wow.
So it's pretty cool to see this graduating class go through.
That's cool. So I'll pause there. Any questions from anybody out in the audience that you want to open up for Peter? Going back. Sure, great. And if you can, say your name, who you're with. A little bit of a plug for each other here. This is our networking version of what we're going to do. Thanks.
Eric Coleman, Tallahassee Local. Peter, quick question on education. What advantages do you have right now you find in the private sector versus the public system with COVID?
Say it again. I didn't hear the first part of it.
Sure. What advantages do you feel like you have right now in the private education sector with COVID?
Yeah, and let me just say this. I've been in private education for 11 years. This has been the most difficult year we've had. It has been so hard to, with the federal regulations, state regulations, CDC guidelines. I mean, it seems like, when it comes to education, those, especially this summer, it changed every week, and as we were in the summer trying to prep for the next year, every week we would get ready and something else would change. And so it has been extremely difficult. I guess the advantages that we have, I guess we don't have some of the same regulations that I guess the public school has, but still, I mean, I really don't know if we have advantages, but we just, as a school and as a smaller school, we had to get our heads together and say, you know what, it's just going to be tough this year, and it's going to be hard, but at the end of the day, our parents expect us to serve them, and they expect us to produce a good product. And as difficult as it is for us, it is very difficult for these parents. And we have a lot of parents that are scared. We have a lot of parents that don't know what to do. We have a lot of parents that are pulling their hair out and saying, you know what, this at-home deal is not for me anymore. And so we took the approach of, you know what, we're just gonna have to roll our sleeves up. And if we have to work twice as hard to serve our parents and to give them the product that they need, we're just gonna have to do it. And that was really the approach that we took as a school. We're like, look, it's gonna be on us, but at the same time, I think for our school and really for all businesses, I mean, as hard as it is, this is a time for us to distinguish ourselves. Because I think parents in the school industry or our customers, in difficult times, they remember, a business or a school that, in a tough time, they were there for me. They went the extra mile for me. They did things that, it cost them money. It was tough for that school to do that, but they did it for us. And I encourage our staff and I encourage the people at our dealership, look, as tough as it is, we can distinguish ourselves if we go the extra mile and we do the extra thing. And it may cost us a little bit more. It's going to cost us a lot of extra time. It's going to cost us a lot of effort, but hopefully that's an investment into what we're doing, and hopefully at the end of the day, our school will be a cut above, because during the difficult times, we went the extra mile, and that's kind of been our approach. But I tell you what, it has been incredibly difficult for us.
Lisa. I'm going to go in a totally different direction here, but
Well, let me just say this, you know, our economy and before COVID, we were on a historic run. We just really were. I mean, business has been really, really good for a really, really long time. And if you look at the curve, if you look at, stocks or whatever, and it has been on a historic run. But so even before COVID hit, in my mind, I was like, you know what, just, if you look at history, things have to correct. They really do. And so even before COVID, I was thinking that. And then COVID hit, and it kind of knocked people, off their horse for a little bit. And I know our business, for a couple of months, it was pretty tough. But I tell you what, it kind of snapped back. PPP dollars came in, and that really, really helped out. And there was some pent-up demand, and so after a couple of months, people were coming in and they were buying. And maybe it was because of our limited supply, but we were making good gross profits on our new and used vehicles. And so, after a couple of months, business got pretty good. And I would say now business it's really, really solid. They're in our showrooms, they're buying cars. And again, I don't know if it's a function of, because the federal government injected trillions of dollars into our economy or whatever, but I mean, things are solid. But still in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm not gonna get too excited. I mean, we have an election happening here in a little bit too. And so after all that kind of washes through and all that goes through, then I'll be able to look back and see, kind of where are we? But I would say right now, all in all, I mean, business is solid, and I would say for us, we're still looking for good people. We're still looking for, if there are good candidates out there, we're hiring. And I've talked to, other companies out there. There's a lot of companies out there that are still looking for good people. So all in all, it's not, we went through a rough patch, and it's still kind of difficult in certain industries, but, all in all, it's solid. But can I say, yep, it's gonna be here, it's gonna sustain, and we're gonna keep rolling. I'm a little cautious, we'll see. I wish I had a crystal ball, but I mean, I don't. But I would say things are pretty solid for us right now.
Good question. So how do you split your time between, you're basically running two enterprises, and well, three if we add family,
Yep.
Family first. How do you, from a CEO perspective, how do you move in and out of that? What have you, and again, with COVID, you've got to kind of go to that, okay, this is what I've learned with COVID to get me through versus what I've heard historically. Just maybe share how you bounce back and forth through that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's been very difficult. It's been really, really difficult, but just like everybody would probably attest to, the key to any corporation, school, whatever, is the people that you have. If you've got good people, if you've got good leadership, good people that can help you, that's the key. And I will say in our school, I told them last year that I'd be transitioning, and I have an incredible principal that I'm handing things off, and my goal there was to completely hand it off and get out. COVID hit, and it kind of sucked me back into it, and so I'm there more than I thought I'd be. But I have an incredible principal at the school that's taking the reins and taking this COVID thing and really running with it. And so I'm really thankful there. At the dealership, I was able to bring in a general manager who has a lot of experience, and who can run the day-to-day operations of the store and really do a good job there. So really, the key for me is just having good people in place that I can trust, that can, if I'm not there, or if I have to be somewhere else, that I can say, they're not going to drop the ball. And good times or bad times, COVID or not COVID, the key to it is having good people that can take the ball and run with it.
Questions on the rest? I think we'll go in the back and we'll come to Kathy.
Matt, OCD, round. Peter, I don't believe there's probably anyone else in this room that achieved the level that you did of success in football. Going to FSU at the height of their reign, and then going to playing Baltimore and being as successful as you were. How many of those skills from your days
Absolutely. I would say that's kind of the foundation of who I am, and I think that's how I manage, based off of, I've been a sports guy my whole life, and I tell this to, all of our kids at our school and my kids that, look, you're probably not going to the NFL. You're probably not going to the NBA. It's tough to make a career in sports, but that's okay. I would encourage all kids to play sports. Not because you're going to make a career or get a scholarship. It's the life lessons that you get from sports that, they parallel so well football. With running a business. Just, being in a locker room, and in a football locker room with 100 people, and you've got white, you've got black, you've got rich, you've got poor, you've got people, people from all different areas, and just having a coach and having the mentality to say, you know what, you may not like each other, you may not know each other, you may be from different parts, but you know what, in order for us to be successful, we've got to put those things aside, and we've got to come together as a team, and we've got to be successful with that way. And we've got to put that aside to be who we're going to be as a football team. And it's the same thing with the company. You have a bunch of employees, and they, at the end of the day, in order for you to be successful, you have to move together as a team. And you're going to deal with different personalities and different people. But just having the skills to be able to get people to go in the right direction, overcoming adversity, learning how to win the right way with a good attitude, learning how to lose, learning how to pick yourself back up, learning how to work with a coach that may not like you, or a coach that you may think that is treating you the wrong way. It's the same thing in business. You may have a boss, so you may have man, my boss really doesn't like me, or my boss doesn't really appreciate me. Again, if you have the right attitude, or if you've been in a sports situation, you know what? It may not be the best situation, but you know what? I've got to find a way to work through this, and I've got to find a way to work around that. So again, the lessons that I learned from sports, again, hats off to Bowden, just the things that he taught us about winning and losing, and about work ethic and pushing through are things that, I try to use today, and I try to instill in our employees at CLA and Peter Boulware Toyota. So just so thankful for the opportunity to have played sports and to learn the lessons that I learned in sports.
Kathy, huge Seminole fan.
Yes. Good morning. Kathy Bell, Colony Bell, engineering here in Tallahassee. A small company, we've got about 12, 13 people. And my question to you is insights, aha moments, thoughts you have about this transition that just happened with your ownership, with your partner, and the planning and preparing for that, and some things that went into that to make sure that it was smooth for both of you.
Yep.
And then any ahas as you were going through the process, look back, woulda, coulda, shoulda, that maybe could give us some insight on that kind of a process happening.
Yeah, my transition with my partner, this wasn't an overnight thing. To be honest with you, this was something that was planned out when we first partnered together, and we tried to think it out. And this is when I was playing in the NFL, and my partner here was full time, and so we had a plan in place that he would run the store. I'd be, while I was playing, and I'd be just more of an investor. But during that time, I'd come back in the off season. I'd learn. I would train. I would, and hopefully after 10, 12, 15 years, then I'd transition in. What we didn't want was for me to have, zero involvement. Transition happens, and I just jump in, and just try to figure it out. And so, we put a plan in place for me to come in, me to learn, and me to just to try to work my way in slowly. And so that was very helpful for me. I think really the thing that really helped me the most was, when I started the school. It'd be one thing for me to jump into, the Toyota store and try to do something, but just starting the school from ground up and getting an understanding of how to start a company, how to hire people, how to get a system in place to, to manage these people. And in the school, I did every job, and so it gave me a greater appreciation of, man, this is harder than it looks from the outside. And so, just being able to do that for 11 years, and then work my way into the store. And so we had a plan in place. Now I will say this: as much as we planned, and as much as we tried to, make it soft for me to come in, when I came in, COVID hit. And I was like, man, I couldn't have transitioned at a worse time, So that was incredibly difficult. But even if COVID wasn't there, and even with all the planning, jumping into a store with 160 employees, you're not going to be ready for it. I mean, there are going to be things that come at you that you're just not ready for. And that's what kind of, that's what's happened to me so far. There's been a lot of things that are happening, and I'm learning on the go. I mean, I'm drinking water from a fire hose right now. But my partner is still there for me. I still have a crutch there. Like I said, I have a general manager there that's kind of helping me through it. And so you can prepare, but eventually you've got to dive in. And as tough as it is, you've got to make your own mistakes. And you've got to go in there, and you've got to, once you make them, you've got to learn them, and hopefully you'll be better for it. And hopefully your employees don't, or your bottom line doesn't suffer that much. But again, I've got to go in there, and I've got to put, my ideas and my stamp on it. And unfortunately, that sometimes comes with, a few bumps in the road and a few mistakes in the road. But as I said before, hopefully I'll learn from it, I'll get better from it, and hopefully our store and our employees will be better for it. But again, we try to prepare for it, but again, it's just, you got to get in, you got to jump in, and hopefully, I'll be able to run with it, and hopefully at the end of the day, we'll do a great job with it. Yeah, really, I've done this, I guess, for 17 years, and we were introduced by a mutual attorney. We had the same automotive attorney, and the attorney, he was like, well, I think you need to meet Les Akers. He's an incredible operator. He would be a good partner for you. And so he put us together, and I called Les, and we got on the phone, and we just kind of, we started talking. And we were able to solidify a partnership and to buy this Toyota store. And as I said before, we've known each other for 17 years. He's run the store for 17 years. And I will say this, I am incredibly thankful for Les. He is very sharp. He knows the automobile industry really, really good. But more importantly than that, Les is an incredible person. And he's done a lot for this community. He's given a lot of his time and a lot of his resources to the community. And he's been an incredible example and an incredible person for me to learn from in the automotive industry, but also an incredible person to learn from how to be involved in the community and how to give back to the community. So I'm thankful for my partnership with Les Akers.
So what are you all projecting? So, it's hard with COVID. So as you look to 2021, let's talk maybe on the dealership business side. I think everyone's also intrigued by the auto industry, whether it's electric cars coming out, new product line coming up, new trends. What are you seeing out there on the horizon? How do you begin to forecast for that?
Let me tell you what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for growth. I'm hoping that we will grow, and I'm hoping that and Toyota has a very strong brand. Historically, their brand has been good. It's been strong, and so I'm hoping that our brand continues to be strong. I'm hoping that our brand continues to dominate, and hopefully we'll continue to capture more market share. And so that's my hope, and that's I believe in our product. Yes, I mean Toyota. They've made a big investment in the hybrid vehicles and the electric vehicles, and so those will continue to grow. And so again, in town, hopefully we will grow our business. As I said before, who knows what's going to happen? but all I can do is focus locally on what we're doing, hiring the right way, making sure that our processes are in place, and hopefully we'll continue to grow our business. And if there is a slowdown, hopefully we'll be prepared for that as well. But again, it's hard to tell right now. Again, like I said, with COVID and the election, it's hard to say that, this thing is gonna take off. But again, hopefully we'll prepare in such a way that if it continues to roll, we'll be in a good position, and if it doesn't, we'll be prepared as well. But again, I am so proud to be a Toyota dealer. I'm proud to be a part of Southeastern Toyota. Jim Moran, they are an incredible distributor, and they provide incredible help and support. They are aggressive. They want to be the best, and they're pushing us to be the best as well. And so again, just thankful to have the Big T brand and to be part of Toyota, Southeastern Toyota.
Right. Questions? We've got a few more minutes here. I know the one, Bill, you have another one?
I do, because I'm curious how Jim Moran and Southeast Toyota drives the business.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're our distributor, and they provide us support, and they provide people that will come into our store, and they're always, they're about volume. They want to push volume. They want us to sell as many cars as we possibly can. And they are constantly challenging us, pushing us to make sure that we're hitting our number. And they want to make sure that Southeastern Toyota, they want to make sure that they are the best. And so, as I said before, they're great because they come into our store, and not only are they they're setting numbers for us, but they're providing the support for us. They're bringing people in and say, these are some of the things that you can do better in your variable operations. These are some of the things that you can do better in your finance department to get more gross profit there. In your service department, if you want to sell more parts, if you want to serve your customers better, here are processes, here are things that you can do, and they're honest, and they come in and they say, these are some of the things that you're doing well, these are some of the things that you aren't doing well. And so they're there for the support, they keep us accountable, and again, they're pushing us to be the best, and as an owner of the company, I feel the pressure from Southeastern Toyota. As I said before, they're there to sell cars and to sell products. And they want us not only to sell cars and products, but they want that customer, when they walk out, they want that customer to be wowed. They want them to have an incredible experience. And it's difficult sometimes with the amount of people that we have coming through our service drive, or the amount of people that are buying cars from us. It's difficult for all of those customers to come through and say, we've had an incredible experience. What an awesome experience. And our goal is perfection, but we drop the ball a lot, and so again, but just so thankful to have SET there, pushing us, challenging us, and trying to squeeze the best out of us, because again, at the end of the day, we're going to be good when we're challenged and pushed. So again, I'm thankful to have an incredibly strong distributorship behind us that's pushing us and challenging us. Coaching and mentoring, I think that's huge. I think that's kind of, I think that's, I know, like in the school, and, I would love to hire, people that were just completely polished and have it all together and they're perfect. But there are very few people like that out there, A lot of people that I hire in the school or hire at the store, they're going to have to be mentored, and they're going to have to be coached, and they're going to have to be brought to the standard that I set or that you set in your company. And so bringing people in and letting them know, look, this is a standard, this is who we are, this is who we want to be as a company, or this is who we want to be as a school, and you know what, you may not be there, but that's okay. We can get you there. If you're willing to work hard, if you're willing to have the attitude, if you're willing to have the mentality of, I want to be coached, I want to be mentored, I want you to help me take it to the next level. Again, those are the type of people that I want to hire. Those are the type of people that I want in my school. Those are the type of people that I want in my store. That, you know what, you may not be there, but you know, you have a heart, and you have the attitude of, you know what, I want to be better, and I want to be mentored, and I want to know how you do it at Peter Boulware Toyota, or I want to know how you do it at Community Leadership Academy. You know, I may have done it a different way at my other school or my other way, but you know, I'm open, my mind is open, and I'm always willing to learn. And so just having people that are willing to do that, but on the flip side, also having your managers or your department heads, having them, you know, wise enough and having them in a position to where they can mentor. It's one thing to be able to do your job. It's one thing to be able to sell cars, parts, or to you know, perform service. It's another thing to be able to mentor and train. And those, to me, those are two different skills. And so being able to have people that are good at their job, but also can say, you know what, let me slow down a little bit. Let me also bring the people in my department along. Let me also pour into these new employees, and let me also be able to invest my life into other people. To me, that's incredibly important. So mentoring and developing talent, I mean, that's something that, you know, I think we all have to do if we want to be good at what we do.
Lisa, did you have another question?
I did, just real quickly. So you talked about Jan and their, I'm assuming when you say that they're southeast, how far is their stretch? And then considering that, and you talked about some of the things that they come in and provide you with guidance on various things. Are there benchmarks, the benchmarks that they set, do they categorize you just sort of in general, all dealerships kind of here are the benchmarks, or do they put you in kind of peer groups where, you know, you're kind of competing or setting benchmarks? You know, I mean, do they put you in the same category as Miami, or do they, you know, what does that kind of look like, I guess?
Yeah, the first was the Southeast Toyota. They cover 5 states in the Southeast, and so that's their area. And then our store, we have our district. You know, in our district, it's kind of geographically based. And so, we're not compared with stores in like Miami, you know. But they look at our PMA and they look at what we have, and our number is set based off of our PMA and our geographical area. And that's, you know, that's kind of what our standard when it comes to the amount of new cars that we have to sell. That's pretty much set by our primary market area. And so that's kind of how they do it. And you know, there are there's NCM, there are automotive standards out there. There are automotive, you know, you can be in 20 groups where you can get with, you know, groups of dealers, and you know, there's standards are set there, and that's kind of how you can get with your peers, and you can kind of compare how you're doing, or what you're doing, or what you're doing good, or what you're not doing well. And so there's a lot of things out there, there's a lot of resources out there that you know, as a store, that we can look at ourselves and say, you know what, yes, we're hitting the standard, or we're not hitting the standard. So there are resources and tools out there that we use.
So we are coming up on 9 o'clock. 2 quick questions for you. Thank you for your leadership, and thank you for you and Kenya coming back to Tallahassee. Is there a message you would give to our local community, or as a CEO in a room of CEOs? We as a chamber want to continue to drive jobs. We think jobs will be a cure for a lot in our community. Is there a message as you sit at home that you would hope for the community, or that we could all continue to push from?
Yeah, well, let me just say this, and this is because I've spent so much time in the nonprofit world. The nonprofits, we depend on the business community to do what we do, to survive, to be able to serve the community. We're coming to the companies, and we're asking for support, and we're asking for the companies to give and to support and do what we do. And again, I know a lot of you guys, and I know a lot of the companies in Tallahassee are very generous to the nonprofit world. And again, that's just my heart. Again, I would say, Continue to support good organizations. Continue to support the nonprofits. Continue to pour and invest your time into the community. It makes such a big difference. Again, from running a nonprofit school, we couldn't make it. We couldn't have survived 11 years without the community giving their resources and giving their time and pouring into our school. And for that, I say thank you. Thank you, business community, for doing that. And I would encourage you, and again, I'm sure you guys are still doing it, continue to do it. Number one, it is incredible for the community, nonprofits. They depend on it. But again, I think it's good for your company. It's good for your people to not only give money, but roll their sleeves up and just find what they're passionate about. Say, you know what, I'm going to get involved outside of my work hours, outside of what I do in this company. I'm going to wear a Peter Boulware Toyota shirt, and I'm getting involved in some issues in the community, not because I'm trying to make money, but because I care about the community. And I think it just makes all the difference in the world. And so again, that's my encouragement. Again, that's a little selfish just because I'm in the nonprofit world, but I tell you what, it makes such a big difference, and it makes our community really, really, really good when business community gets involved in nonprofit.
I see Bernice Cox with United Way smiling behind her mask. All right, so the last question, and I was at the press announcement when Coach Norvell was announced, and it was up there at Champions Club, and I had the opportunity. I was standing in the back of the room, but you were standing in the back of the room, and I just, it was an amazing sight. Many of you were there. Coach Norvell did a tremendous job with his opening remarks, and then you saw this switch flip when he started talking like he was in the locker room. And I just noticed his eyes locked into your eyes and Joe Camp's. And it was just it was a coach team. It was just a moment there. So we've got a big game this weekend. I know he's going to be dying sitting in his house watching it.
Yeah.
What's your sentiment to the game, and what do you read on this?
Yeah, I mean, let me just say this about Coach Norvell. Just so glad to have him here. I think he is going to be a great coach for us. And this may sound a little weird, but I went to the game. Obviously, we lost to Georgia Tech, but I'm looking at the game a little differently. I think a successful team has good processes. It takes foundations. It takes time to build it. And so when I was watching the game, I watched how they hit the field. I watched sideline management. I watched coaching management. There was a lot of things that I was looking at to see what type of team that we have. And I was like, you know what? I was really, really impressed with, the management, the processes, the play calling, just the discipline, the penalties were down. And again, we didn't win, but I'm like, you know what? If we can continue that, if we can continue to do that and be disciplined, the wins will come. It's going to take some time, and unfortunately, processes and discipline, that's half of it. The other half is players, and so Norvell, he's going to have to recruit his way out of this, and he's going to have to get some great players. But all in all, I think we're headed in the right direction. And again, I hope we win a lot of games, but more importantly, if he can continue to discipline, hold the standard, and continue to do the little things the right way, we're going to be good. It's just going to take a few years. But again, I think he's going to be great for FSU football. I think he's going to be great for the town, and eventually we're going to be back on top. So hopefully it'll be sooner than later.
Okay. Well, Peter, thanks a million. I know you're very busy, and everyone is busy in this room. You touched on talent. We rolled out an initiative under Beth's chairmanship, and Terry R. was in the room. I saw her earlier, I thought, maybe not. It's called Talent Hub 2030, and it's a software platform where employers can go on, and we want everyone. And so if you have positions available, it's talenthub2030.com. You can post your positions there, and it's also for those seeking jobs can go to that site. Corey Nelson, our point person, doing a tremendous job. Our goal is to have 500 employers on by the end of October. It is so simple, but it's critical to our community and making sure everyone has an opportunity to find a job, to get trained, to to go through Library, to go through TCC, to go through Career Source. And so it's something that we've been able to do with the support of Christina Paredes at OEV. We received a grant to launch this. So everyone's involved. It's a way of pulling all the resources together. And so want to encourage you to do that if you haven't done that already, and just something you may want to take a look at. It's talenthub2030.com. So thank you all. Lisa, thank you for sponsoring today. Thank you all for showing up. We are very excited, and to our board and our leadership, we're here as a Chamber of Commerce. We know how important it is to get through this, and we will. And keep an eye out. We've got more programming that we're pushing forward. Dana is back there in her office, constantly trying to come up with what we're going to do next. And if there are not any other questions or any other announcements, we will convene, and hope you all stay safe, and God bless. Thank you all. Thank you, Peter.